Spurs fans? This is Tom the Spurs dude talking Spurs basketball. Obviously, with the Summer League ending, the San Antonio Spurs have finally agreed to sign 3 players. Gary Neal, James Anderson, actually there's 4. Gary Neal, James Anderson, Matt Bonner, and Richard Jefferson. Obviously, let's get to it. Richard Jefferson was with the Spurs last year, as everyone knows, and he really just didn't give the Spurs his all. When you look at all the games that the Spurs played with Richard Jefferson, you just didn't see the expectation that was expected of most Spurs fans, and not just Spurs fans, but most of NBA fans. Because you have to remember that a lot of expectations were, very high. A lot of Spurs fans, such as myself, had very high standards for Richard Jefferson coming in and obviously going to do the things that we were expected him of doing. But that didn't happen. So the season went on and the Spurs went to the playoffs. They beat the Dallas Mavericks the first round and got swept by the Phoenix Suns in the second round. What does this signing mean in terms of the Spurs getting better? Well, since Richard Jefferson opted out of his contract, that allowed the Spurs to terminate what was his contract last year and just sort of come up with a new contract in order to get Richard Jefferson a new deal. Now the Spurs and Richard Jefferson and R.C. Buford agreed on a 4-year deal with Richard Jefferson signing just the other day. They agreed to a 4-year deal, and they expect Richard Jefferson to have a better year than last year. Everyone expects that. If you're a Spurs fan, you can pretty much expect him to play better and be more aggressive, attacking the basket, getting to the free throw line, and drawing fouls. That's what Richard Jefferson did with the New Jersey Nets in 2003. That's the Richard Jefferson the San Antonio Spurs need right now on their team. Other signing, Gary Neal. Gary Neal was a standout player in the 2010 NBA Summer League with the San Antonio Spurs. Gary Neal did his thing. He scored. He showed R.C. Buford and Greg Popovich just what he is made of, just what he can do out there basically on the court in terms of scoring the basketball. I'm not too familiar with his defense, but with his numbers that he put up in the Summer League were pretty good. They were not bad at all. They were pretty good. Especially when you're looking for young talent, someone to bring into the San Antonio Spurs such as Gary Neal. A good pickup for the Spurs. He's a shooting guard, but the Spurs could always use shooters. This guy can shoot, obviously. Proved that in the Summer League in Vegas. So let's see what Gary Neal does with the San Antonio Spurs, as the Spurs also signed Gary Neal to a contract. Matt Bonner was also another player that was re-signed by the San Antonio Spurs. Matt Bonner was in sort of the same category as Richard Jefferson, as most Spurs fans recalled Matt Bonner only making certain shots against certain teams. And really what I mean by that is Matt Bonner only really made 3-point shots against the teams that were at least 500 or lower. I'm talking about teams such as the Clippers, the Raptors, the Pacers, the Minnesota Timberwolves, teams that didn't have a great winning percentage. For some reason, Matt Bonner struggled with the higher winning percentage teams. And yes, it's true that the Spurs as a whole may have struggled against better teams, but Matt Bonner just stuck out the most to me because there were some games where even Manu had good games against good teams. But Matt Bonner just could not find his rhythm, It seemed like he was lost in daze and confusion. So anyways, the Spurs are giving Matt Bonner a second chance and re-signing him to a 4-year deal. So let's see how Matt Bonner turns out this year with the Spurs, and let's see if this is even worth the Spurs' time. Another player, Thiago Splitter, of course, the Brazilian player. Now most Spurs fans have been waiting for, has finally arrived in the United States. Thiago Splitter is a big man that's going to obviously help you with rebounding, scoring the ball in the paint, drawing the double team, allowing guys like Manu Ginobili, Richard Jefferson, Matt Bonner, that I just talked about, three-point shooters, even possibly Gary Neal, James Anderson. That's also another guy the Spurs signed, James Anderson. Three-point shooters to get wide open and knock down open wide shots. That's what Thiago is going to do in terms of helping the San Antonio Spurs. I know I made a video about Thiago, just refreshing y'all a bit on Thiago Splitter. And another guy I want to get to real quick is James Anderson from Oklahoma State. James Anderson, the Spurs decided to sign him today as of July 23rd, a.k.a. my birthday. James Anderson is another great athletic young talent that the Spurs and most NBA GMs considered a steal in the NBA draft of 2010. James Anderson is a scorer. James Anderson is a stud. This guy is going to come in and immediately have an impact on the Spurs. Now I know we didn't get to see him play so much in the Summer League, but that was because of a hurt hamstring, I believe, that he had, so that kept him out from the Summer League. But do not disregard James Anderson if you're a Spurs fan. This has got to be the best pickup of the NBA draft this year. You're talking about a guy that was leading in scoring for Oklahoma State. He can shoot the three, has a good jump shot, and can really help this San Antonio Spurs ball club tremendously. So I look forward to seeing all these new signees or former new signees come back to the San Antonio Spurs and do their thing this season. Tell me what you guys think. ClubSpurs.com. Shout outs to a couple of people. Doodoo Brown Sports TV, JR Sports Brief, Ticket 760, Sports Talk San Antonio. Shout outs to Jim Bob Brazil and Mike Taylor doing their thing in San Antonio. Shout outs to Sonia NBA, Elite NBA Talk, DZ2425. The list goes on and on. J-Way Shacks. I can keep on and on. ProjectSpurs.com, and Adriana Villanueva that also works with Spurs.com. So shout outs to everyone. Go Spurs go. Let's get it done. Let's go get the drive for 5, baby. It's time to get this over with. It's time to play the games. Let's do it. And I'm out. It's Tom the Spurs dude talking Spurs basketball with y'all. Thanks for watching. Please comment.